Good evening everyone and welcome to 7 Round Sunday round 1. We are racing at Suzuka tonight. We've got quite a large grid with tonight 38 people total. You join us for qualifying at the moment. So drivers are out setting their qualifying laps. Obviously we're only 4 minutes in the qualifying session at the moment, so no one's got a time on the board. What we're doing currently is a split qualifying. As you can see on the left hand side, the white card drivers are going out and doing their qualifying laps for the first 10 minutes, and then the red card drivers are going out and doing it for the final 10 minutes. So just to allow the grid a bit of separation and some easier attempts to find race gaps. Looking at the pace tonight, as we see the first car cross the line, we're looking at some 138s and some potentially some sort of 59s and upwards. The grid is quite packed. I was looking at the times during the practice session, and people have some close times. I think around about the 2 minutes to 2 minutes and 2 seconds area. There was quite a lot of people, so we'll see some certain close battles there. This race tonight is 75 minutes long. It is 2 mandatory pit stops. Like I said, we've got 38 cars on the grid. So, first couple lap times are starting to come in now. Eric Dreyer is one of the fastest cars on the grid currently. He's set at 159.2, and I'm thinking that we're expecting to see him sort of rocketing up his times a little bit more. He was on sort of 158.7 during the sort of practice session, so he's definitely got some more time in him. Michael Firth, who we were on with a minute ago, is on a 2 minutes 1/10, so he can definitely get into the 159s this evening. Further behind, Max Hussle, who we've seen quite recently racing with us quite a lot, that beautiful Korean livery, is on a 2 minutes flat 8/10. My bit rate is quite you know if that's any better, John? So Max Hussle has raced with us quite a lot recently in that beautiful Korean livery. We actually did an endurance race that he was part of yesterday, so we saw him on track. He's currently on a 2 minutes flat 0.8. As I was saying, I think he's crossed the line going back to the pit lane, so I think he's definitely got some more time in there. He's about 1.5 seconds from the current pace. What I'm going to do now is just make sure we're disqualified. Go out. Are able to go out. We did have some breaking the rules, so we're disqualified, and we'll allow them back out shortly. So it looks like we do have only a couple drivers of the white cards left to complete their qualifying. We've got Roger Mack here in his Ferrari. He's sort of going towards the final sector of his lap. Looks like he might not be proven at the moment. His lap time is red, but I think that might be not entirely correct. Gavin Iverson, who has recently switched to a wheel, is racing with us tonight. We're expecting some decent times with him. He was racing on controller previously, so obviously a wheel is a new experience. Interesting place to stop there though. Turn into pit lane. Sebastian Gaven, we've seen him quite frequently on track well recently. We know he's very fast. I think he was saying that times that he's seen pretty outstanding. So it's good to know that we found some competition for you. Gil Silverin is currently on a 2 minutes flat 6/10, but they're currently 4/10 up on their lap, so they're going to be looking at sort of a very low 2 minutes and even a sub 2 minutes lap time. Obviously when the red card drivers go out as well, it'll sort of open out the grid a little bit more to more drivers. Mustang does sound quite nice. It says Streamlabs or OBS settings, but the stream has to be altered to change it. Bad now, it's settled down. Yeah, alright, I did try and change it in OBS. Currently on 1600, so hopefully it's a little bit better. Good. Cool. So, as I said, I'm going to make sure that the drivers are able to do their qualifying. Yeah. Yeah, Porshkov is racing tonight. He's just set a 159 flat, some 158s as well, so it'd be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, this will be his final lap now, so he does want to get into sort of the 158s that is his final splash and dash. You free tonight, John? You fancy joining on comms for a bit, or are you busy halfway through? Drea's returned to the pit lane now. We can see the drivers heading out to do their qualifying lap. Try and pull up drivers that's heading out now. Get more piling up at the end of the pit lane. In 3 seconds, they'll be allowed to go out. As you can see them sort of heading now. Brian Blanchett and Stuart Pryor are heading in front of the pack, so they'll be doing their laps first. Got on board with Porshkov for his final sector. He's currently 5/10 up on his time. I'll switch back to the broadcast camera for you. He's dropped down a little bit now, back down to 2:10, so he's going to go into the 158s, but it's not going to be as dominant lap time as we had expected. Obviously, Drea, his biggest rival, is on a 9.2 at the moment, and he's already returned to the pit lane, so I don't think we'll be seeing change him. Max Hustle is also finishing the third sector of his race. He's qualifying, sorry. He's on a 2 minutes 8/10 at the moment, and he's currently 3/10 up, so it'll be a 2 minutes sort of 5. That'll put him in 5th place, but we need a lot more time to go any higher than that. Nikinen, who we've seen quite recently as well, is racing. Is currently on a 2 minutes 1.7. That'll soon go up to a 2 minutes flat 0.9. I think they crossed the finish line now. Yeah, that's put them to a 2 minutes flat 0.9. Moving to 8th place. I believe all the white car drivers should be in their lap by now. I'm just going to return these guys to the pit lane. Turning by themselves. Lopez lap, and Bassin is still on lap as well. So there was a few drivers who weren't able to do their laps. Just couldn't quite find the time. Olivara, one of those, and we've got Kevin who unfortunately was able to find some lap times as well. Bassin crossing soon, so they'll be setting a lap of about a 1. Well, actually, they're valid, so they're going to stick with a lap of 2:17, which I think should place them towards the rear end of the grid. Obviously, if they go over the grid, over the start-finish line and continue racing, I'll have to return them to the pit lane. But generally, I think everyone's followed these quite well. So the first couple of drivers are sort of heading around to do their laps now. Obviously, we saw that Pryor and Blanchett were the first couple over the finish line. Over the start-finish line. Oh, nice! Thank you, John, for the 2-month Prime streak. Appreciated. Make sure I'll return to the pit lane. And I believe that is all the white car drivers. So we do just have the red car drivers out at the moment. I don't know if you heard me, John, but I was asking if you're free this evening and you fancy joining comms. Even if it's just for half an hour or so, appreciate it. Waiting on the first lap to be set by a red car driver. I think we're expecting that sort of soon. Where's Blanchett? Yeah, they're coming through the final sector now. What lap time they're doing? Won't be able to. Pryor, because they're first to cross. Yeah, going to the final 3 corners now. Across the first chicane, across the second. All good. Obviously, Pryor in his Aston Martin livery looks very spectacular. He always gets 1 or 2 comments going about how good it looks, especially with that pink and how close it matches the cars, the Formula 1 cars. That is, as Alex Zagdal blasts past everyone and goes in for a 2 minutes or a 1 minute 58.7. So he is the only driver currently to set a 1 minute 58. Obviously, Porshakov and Dreyer didn't quite manage to set that lap, so definitely some competition up at the top. I'm chilling tonight, mate. You're gonna watch this. You're gonna watch from the armchair. Fair enough, mate. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully get some good action on here as well. 75 minutes, so it should take you, give you quite a lot of entertainment. I think it'll take us up to about 5 past 10 past 9. What is everyone else doing? So Valentino Buccheri is currently crossing the finish line. They're going to do a 2 minutes. They didn't set a lap. I think that might have been an invalidated lap. I think the last lap, however, was a check. 2 minutes flat 0.6. So they've got some serious time on them. They just need to make it a valid lap. A lot of very fast drivers in here tonight, should be interesting. I've raced against Alex. Boron is very consistent. Yeah, Alex is an incredibly consistent driver. He's one of the fastest that I know personally, and he's also very good at what he does as well. So he's a steward with us. He's a steward with FRL. Racing the FRL livery this evening. But he is currently dominating everyone else by about 1/10, so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do up at the front. Clear the penalties or qualifications at Radar, just go there press. Surprise going to cross the finish line again. I don't think there'll be any improvement there though, as the car comes out of the pit lane on the side. I think he's giving up lap time. Yes, he is. So that might be the final lap. Pryor, if he goes into the pit lane and back out again soon enough, he'll be able to join. Blanchette, on the other hand, the two of them race quite frequently with each other. He's just on for another lap now. Currently on a 2 minute flat 0.6, so I think he might have a couple tenths in there at least. Obviously, you can see from the timetables on the left hand side there is quite a spread between the top 3 and everyone else. Given wasn't quite able to set, I think, his fastest lap. He was about a second down, 8.7. Nikinen has stolen Stewart's livery, yeah. Stewart's livery was actually made an official ACM livery, due to how good it is. Obviously it's got the ACM badges and all of that, so yeah, Nikinen's able to use it from Awesome. Obviously all credit goes to Pryor on that one, it's a fantastic livery. Nikinen's currently in pit lane, they're in Aston as well. Barry Gibbons is back in. Oh, sorry, he's in the McLaren. I'm thinking of someone else who switched to the Mustang. That's Mustang. So Barry Gibbons is in his McLaren. Currently on a 2 minute flat 0.9. Definitely a lot more time in there for Barry. He's quite a fast driver, so I think probably a mid 2 to low 2 minutes lap time that he's aiming for. See if it's improving now. By about a tenth or so. Solarino, who is in the Mustang, is currently improving by about 4 tenths, and so is Buccheri for the Mustang. Buccheri's in the Mustang as well, so 4 tenths air lap time. That'll put them with 59.8 actually, which I think will put them up to about 3rd or 4th place. Very good going in that Mustang. Don't see many drivers in the Mustang. Generally, when a new car gets released, you sort of see it come in the OP car, but I think a lot of people are struggling with the torque on it. Very happy rear end, as you can see it going slightly wide there. That'll be Buccheri's lap time invalidated. Saloev, on the other hand, is coming across the final few corners, complete their lap time now. Obviously, you see some ACM badges on the Audi there. It's much appreciated from these guys running the ACM badges, and according to the rumours, it increases your penalties given. Obviously, all rumours, of course, but do feel free to stick it on your livery. Appreciated. When did Gav get his wheel? Be interested to see his progress. Yeah, he got it on Friday. I think he had his first race with us on Friday. Had racing it? Oh, it was last night. So this is the first race on the wheel for Gavin. He wasn't able to set a lap time during qualifying, so looking towards the rear end of the um, just yeah. White cut driver. Well, places us out on lap time. It's qualified, unfortunately. Do that now together. Cool. So, looking forward to the wheel then, Gavin. Yeah, it's a bit different from a controller. I used to race on a numbskull. It was basically a controller in a wheel form, no force feedback or anything. So it's definitely a shift over, especially when you got force feedback. I think you switched to a 29. Is that correct? Good starting wheel. If so, as Tactile Alex comes across the line with a 158.5 as their final qualifying lap. That is a very fast qualifying lap. It's the fastest I think we've seen so far. So fair enough to Alex. I think he'll be first place by quite a lot, but I think Porsche Coventry are going to give him a decent run for his money here tonight as well. It's all the other pits you do while driving, yeah. Speaking of pits, quite a lot of mandatory pit stops tonight. We've got 2 in 75 minutes. Both of them require mandatory refueling, so it's a minimum 25-second stop for each of them. Obviously, you can take tyres as well. Obviously, you're just not required to do so. So it'll be 25 or 30-second pit stops for the drivers this evening. That'll spice up the grid a little bit. Did Alex get to the bottom of his buzzer truck? I'm not too sure actually. I know he's swapped out his graphics card recently, but not wheel. But he is making improvements slowly but surely. I'm not sure about his wheel though. After I've asked him after the race, maybe we can get him in for a post-race interview. Last couple drivers coming across and finishing their final laps now. Astakov will be finishing the qualifying session. Currently on a 2-minute flat point 9. No improvements on this lap, however. The sat in P9 at the moment. About 2 seconds down from Alex. It's fairly mental seeing the grid being 2 seconds down in P9 and second down in P4. You don't see that very often, but Alex is an incredibly fast driver. He's also very clean as well, so I'm looking forward to the racing tonight. Astakov's crewing across the finish line then. There's about a tenth and a half in his lap time. 2 minutes flat point 2 seconds, 2 tenths. No improvements, about 900ths from Hanak in front. But that will be the qualifying dealt with. So all the drivers have completed qualifying. Got a grid of 38 that have done it. We've got a couple of drivers that haven't done a lap, weren't able to do a lap. Bottom sort of 5 or 6, so able to do a lap unfortunately. I'm sensing Ferrari could be quite dominant here. Yeah, a lot of Ferraris up at the top. It's a Ferrari 1, 2, 3 and 4, so if all we see is Ferraris tonight, don't blame me. Dominant car. Obviously this is a 7-round championship, as you can tell from the 7-round Sunday name. So the drivers pick their cars and stick with it. Speaking of the tracks that are coming up, the track vote for next week is finalised today. I'll do that now and announce it on stream. So the track that we'll be racing at next week is going to be Brands Hatch, which is surprising actually. It was Donington that was winning all the way up until about an hour ago. So now Brands Hatch is going to be the track that we're racing at next week, which is if you do fancy joining us, if you're watching the stream and you're new here, the link to the Discord is in the chat. Come and join us. We run about 5 or so races a week, 4 or 5 sprint races, endurance races, the whole lot. Please do come and join our Discord and see what we've got going on. See if you can join us for some. Most of them take place around this time, so if this is sort of a time where you're free generally and you're looking for a race to do, please go ahead and join. So 30 seconds left until we get underway with the formation lap. See all the drivers lined up, confirming their setup changes. An interesting grid actually tonight. We've got 4 Ferrari drivers and 3 Mustang drivers, 4 drivers in a row. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how this pans out overall. Going to watch the drivers pull away from their grid spots any time around about now. Yeah, see Alex pulling away, followed by Porshkov, followed by Dreyer, and so on. If so, we'll try and look at the liveries past us. I think most of them at the moment. So we can try it on the right hand side there. Blanchett on the left hand side in the ACM McLaren, Raikkonen in the other, Aston Martin there. It's a good BMW livery. Well, SC Racing, I believe that was the Audi Osloev that passed us. Mustangs further down the grid, mostly Ferraris, got Porsche towards the back as well. Gavin Iverson, right hand side there. And that is the grid for this evening. So, go back on board with Alex as we head in around the formation lap. Drivers will use this time to get their tyres warmed up, brakes warmed up, setups all good. I'm assuming there is balance of power for this tournament. No balance of power for this. It is all defaults by the game. We are looking at our own bot, but for now there is nothing confirmed. So goes out for that. But at the moment it is default bot. So Ferrari, McLaren, petrol quite dominant. No bop. Yeah, no bop. Yeah, we don't use the LFM. See the expenditure being worth it. So, 2 drivers have been turned to the pit lane on the time of 32 and 55, so it'll be 36 off of the start line. Drivers have been told to take it steady. There is no live stewarding for this race. Just if the action does get boring, we'll switch over and cover some. Every time I type balance of power, this happens. Bop. Yeah, I was wondering why it was a bop space or a B space over space P. But that makes sense. Would have been quite weird seeing how I'm assuming that no hammer this tournament. Yeah, Touch is weird. It doesn't have the normal sort of budget required. I've been watching other streams. I don't usually watch Twitch, but when I've been watching streams, I'm trying to find an merging. It's some different. I didn't even know the bop was a thing. Thank you for the follow, Mario, Galaxy, and Felipe Unigens. Getted. Sub goal was 75% of the way to completing the goal. Obviously, for John in earlier, so thank you. If there's anyone else who has Amazon Prime and you're not yet using that to your benefit and anyone else's benefit, you can have a free Prime subscription to any Twitch channel of your preference. You don't have to do it through us, but obviously if you do support us, that is one way you can do it. It's entirely free, of course, if you got Amazon Prime. A link to your Twitch account. It helped us out, so why not do it? I'm surprised to see Max Hustle down in P12 as well. Yeah, I don't think he was able to complete the lap that he was looking for. Obviously with the split qualifying, the drivers only have 10 minutes to set their lap, so especially at a track around this, like Suzuka, when lap times, the drivers are quite pushed for time. Make one mistake and that's sort of it really. But I think Max Hustle will also bring it back race. So drivers are coming along to start-finish line. Line up in double file, ready to get off. Alex Zakdal leads Porshkov for the start here. Porshkov will be trying to gain what he can off the start here, but Alex feisty as well. So as we line up, Drivers are now green and we're away into the first corner. Alex looks like he's got a slightly better start than Poshkov. Further back, I'm not seeing Dreyer catch up too significantly, so it'll be a while before I see a battle between them. Alex takes the inside line for the first two corners. Poshkov drops back behind. The drivers behind are also sort of filling out, sort of double file. I can see a driver that got spun there. Hopefully they're going safely, which I think that was Gaven that was unfortunately off the track. You can see Blanchette was also having a bit of a problem there. Further down the grid, it looks like we've got a couple of drivers all over the place. We've got a car in the middle of the track. Question is now, is it worth a race restart? I don't know if we've got quite a lot of drivers stranded or what's going on. But I think, to be honest, for 75 minutes, I think leave it like this. It's a long formation lap, and I think, to be honest, bound to get sort of something like this happening anyhow, so we'll leave it as it is at the moment. Right, let's catch up with the top guys then. So Alex Zakdal and Poshkov are still battling as they usually would. Dreyer's right up the rear end of Poshkov at the moment. Further down the grid is sort of spreading out a little bit. Solarino's got a bit of a gap behind, 1 second in front, so they're sort of chilling at the moment. However, the Ferrari of Eric Dreyer is all over the back of Poshkov. Poshkov is all over the back of Zakdal. So these drivers are going to be battling out for hopefully the entire race and give us a bit of entertainment. And it looks like those drivers did unfortunately have some collisions at the start. Managed to get it back going. Jack Brewer, I think, was one of the McLarens that we saw spun. You can see a lot of damage on the side of that car, and they unfortunately can't have contact with Bernie there, Mustang. They've managed to keep it going though, so that's good for them. Blanchette was unfortunately another driver that got caught up in quite a lot of incidents. Number 5 Ferrari, there's quite a lot of damage on it. Hopefully you'll be able to recover from it though. There is an hour and 15 minutes of this race, so more than enough time to cover that. So the first lap is down. That is an hour and 12 minutes to go. Max Hussle is already gaining his places. He's up into P9 at the moment. You can see Pryor in front in Aston Martin. Trying to look on the back of Astikov. Astikov, I think, has moved up at least a couple of positions from the start. Started in P8 and then now in P7, so that's for sure. Alfie Price, who we saw a few moments ago as well, has moved up 8 positions from P18, so they've had a splendid start, I think I would say. Hanak as well has found themselves up in P4 from P9, so they've had a good time up in front as well. Further down the grid, it looks like Blanchette, Firth and Gibbons have all unfortunately had incidents. That's a shame to see. It was Firth and Gibbons we've seen having quite a lot of good battles. Silverin is also in the pit lane as well, so unfortunately it seems like they've had a bit of contact. Got a yellow flag for that is Lopez. I think it was Lopez having the yellow flag there, but they've managed to get it going again, which is good to see. Currently battling is Kelly and I think that's Lopez. We've got 2 Lopez tonight. We do. We've got R Lopez and F Lopez. So if you hear me saying Lopez, I take a gander at which one, because I'll probably forget. But that was Kelly moving around the outside of Lopez there, and he's kept position so far. Up at the front, it's starting to spread out a little bit. There's about a second between each driver. Alex is certainly running away with it at the moment. We'll head on board with some closer battles down the grid. Simone Massey is on the rear of R Lopez, who is still on the rear of Kelly in front. Kelly's a driver from Phoenix Simsport. Very good battle, very good unity they are. The battle has resumed with Astikov and Pryor again, so it has. Pryor is about 0.7 behind Astikov. These guys have been racing quite close together with some good battles, so we're looking forward to seeing what they can pull off tonight. So Lopez is right on the rear of Kelly as they head into the first corner, and that looks like a move at the inside. There's a bit of slight contact there with Kelly going very wide on the first corner. I think Kelly's hopefully going to be able to going back onto the track safely, which they do. He's dropped down a couple of positions though. He's now down in P17, so that'll definitely be a post-race penalty for Lopez. Massey is now all over the back of Lopez as well now, with the Porsche of Costa behind as well. Good to see 2 Porsches on the grid. We don't usually see it too often. We used to have Rick Pixel racing with us. He used to drive the Porsche quite a lot. I think he's switched mainly in iRacing so we're lacking in the Porsche category. Up front, still largely unchanged. Hanek is sort of closest up front, but that is second between them, so for now there is no change. Max Hussle is still behind Pryor, and Pryor is still behind Astikov, so these guys are going to be hopefully battling throughout the entire race. We've seen some quite good battles recently. There's a spun Porsche, Solivaria, who we were on with a moment ago, running the hairpin there, but they've got it back going. Good to see. As I was saying, been having some really good battles recently. We had the old GT3 cars on Tuesday. That was a 45-minute race. We had quite a lot of battles there. You can see it on the clips. And then we had the race on Friday at Imola. That was a 75-minute race, fairly similar to this one, except it didn't have a fixed refuel time. Also quite a good event. I think we had a grid of about 30 or so with us there as well. Some good battles in it in between. Further down the grid, I think we've actually got some fairly close battle. Felipe Anton is on the rear of Jin in front of the sort of neon metallic McLaren. Coco is also sort of in the midst of a four-way battle at the moment. Mack in front is about 0.1 behind Mikasani. That's an awful pronunciation. I'll call you Daniel. Brad, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, I'll just call you Daniel. But that is a move from Mack at the side of Daniel. Yeah, lime green and black McLaren. Coco's now in the back of Daniel as well, so Daniel's looking at quite a lot of battles. I don't know if they've gained from their qualifying position. They've actually lost some from their qualifying position, so maybe they've got damage, or maybe they had a spin and the tyres are a bit out of position. It looks like, fortunately, it seems like Ellie has gone off. They're dropping down quite a lot of positions, and they're off to the side of the track waiting for a good gap to run the circuit. That's unfortunate to see. I don't know if it was contact or anything there. Kahneman 91 potentially spun on themselves. You can see a Mustang in the rear running by themselves. I don't know if this was the contact. No, this was the one that you had earlier. So yeah, I think Kelly must have spun by themselves because it's caught on my thing, and they spun again. Kelly's really not having a good time in that Ferrari, which is fortunate to see. Back up with the pack then. Astikov, where's Pryor dropped? Pryor's dropped down behind Max Hussle actually, so we missed an overtake there. I don't know if Pryor's had a bit of an off-track excursion or what, but he's definitely dropped down a little bit. Further back down, Saloev and Massey and Nikon in front are all having sort of a three-way battle. He's got the inside from Simone Massey there. I'm not sure they'll have the line for the next corner. The Ferrari's a little bit unsteady on the exit there. It's going to be a drag race down into P1, into turn 1, sorry. Looks like Massey has got the speed, at least on the straight line. He's going to go outside for the first corner. I think Saloev sort of just gave the position there, braked a little bit earlier, and Simone made the move on the outside. Very good battle between those two going on. Further behind as well, you can see Saloev now being pressured by R. Lopez. Should put board for this battle here. The ACM badge on the Audi in front. As I was saying it earlier, it's much appreciated when you put an ACM badge on, and it rumoured, it's alleged, or alleged that you get reduced penalties if you put an ACM logo on your car. So, you know, why not just do it? Saloev getting a little bit unsteady on the outside there, and that could be a move from Lopez as well. So Saloev, in the space of one lap, has dropped down 2 positions so far, which is unfortunate to see. The other Lopez, Fernando Lopez in the McLaren, is being under pressure from Popo and Coco. It's a good bunch of names there. You can see the McLaren spitting a lot of flames on the entrance into that corner. I don't know if there'll be a move made here by Popo or Coco behind. Looks like Popo covers the inside while covering and looking up the inside onto Lopez. So it's definitely going to be getting a bit spicy down here in sort of P21 position. Daniel, who we're on with, Daniel's is actually in front of this battle by a slight bit. You can see the two cars battling behind. It looks like Popo might be making the move past Lopez on the outside there. We'll try and switch onto these two cars. So yeah, Popo's made the move. It looks like Lopez has got a significantly slower exit, unfortunately. That looks like Coco's going to also make a move on Lopez. And it might be a move around the outside. Wow, that's very close. A little rear end tap in there between these two guys, but Lopez has managed to keep it going so far. How's the Alex versus Porsche battle getting on? It's actually not too far apart. They're about 0.9 seconds now, as we are about 5 or 6 laps into this race. As I was saying, Porsche is not going to be letting Alex go easily. Porsche for RGT Racing Team and Zach Dahl for FRL Racing Team, so different there. It looks like actually Porsche is catching up to Alex Zach Dahl. The last lap was a 58.9 from Porsche and a 59.2 from Zach Dahl, so there's a 1.3 difference in there. Porsche has caught up about 2/10 this lap alone so far, so getting quite close between those two. And speaking of close, Ven and Pryor are also looking to have a bit of a scrap. It looks like Ven chooses the inside there. Pryor sort of allows him that position through. The smart idea, of course, with an hour left in this race, you don't want to risk anything. Have we had any out so far? No, we haven't. I think Michael Firth and all those who were in the pit lane at the start have gone. Sort of getting their positions back now. Gibbons is up in P27 now. It looks like, unfortunately, Nikinen, who we saw quite high up earlier, is now towards the end of the grid, so maybe they've had a bit of a spin. Can't see any damage on the car, so I don't think they've had any effect there. Smart move from Pryor, yeah. So obviously we saw Pryor sort of give Gaven the inside. We know Gaven is a very fast driver, and I'm sure Pryor knows that as well. Obviously Pryor, as I was saying, a very smart driver. He knows which battles to take and which battles not to take in that Aston Martin. Then now left of the race as well, it's much better to lose one position rather than risk anything. Speaking of the Porsche and Alex Zakdal battle, it's actually sort of spread out a little bit now. It's been a lap since we last checked up on it, and their last lap times were fairly equal, and they've dropped back to being a second away from each other. Pryor's still sort of behind Ben, but I'm going to stay on with Porsche for now. We'll see if there's anything else happening throughout the grid as well. I think everyone's sort of spread out now. There's only about 3 or 4 cars that are within a second of each other. Porsche and Alex Zakdal being those closer battles. Despite it spreading out slightly. Hopefully we do get some battles in this race, otherwise you might find me switching over to live stewing. A little less interesting, and also shows off the drivers in a bad way, so I prefer not to do it on the stream, but if worse comes to worse, I'm just to show that on what it could be. Obviously with the 2 mandatory pit stops this evening, I'm not sure we'll have too much of a lack of action. The 2 pit stops does change quite a lot of stuff up. I think the drivers towards the end, Michael Firth, done a pit stop already, and obviously Gibbons and Nikinen as well. So it looks like all of these drivers will have a slight bit of a benefit within the fact that they've already done a pit stop and everyone else has still got 2. But obviously with the damage that Michael Firth, Gibbons, Silverend and etc. had, they'll be quite a little bit of a way down. Popo, Coco, Coco's a little bit further down now. Popo and Daniel in front, that's Anton in front as well in the Mustang, all having sort of a 3-way battle at the moment. Mustang on the outside of Anton, sort of looking all over the place to see where they can get moved. Currently Mac leading there in that Ferrari. We'll hop on board in the rear of Mac and see what position gets taken here. The Anton Mustang goes for the inside of 30 yards. Quite a fast corner. It's quite difficult for drivers to go through there side by side. Obviously you saw both drivers with their brake lights on there. That's given Popo a little bit of a look down the inside of Mac, and Mac takes back the inside from Anton. Anton comes it off there. I thought that was going to be a turn-in by the Mustang. Like they're just getting a little bit steady with the amount of torque that Mustang has. I don't know exactly. I think on controller or mouse and keyboard, the inputs look a little janky at least. They're currently on the outside of back. Sorry, Popo. I have to keep track of all these Ferraris here. It looks like Popo might keep that position there. So Mac is now about a second in front of that. They've gained quite a lot from behind battling. Further down the grid, down in P34, P35, Macon, Gazzoni and Felice having a little bit of battle. It's Mustang versus BMW. Two tanks of a car. If only we had the Bentley involved in here as well. Speaking of, I think we do have a Bentley down with us. We did, and it might have left since. Fortunate to see, but yeah, the Mustang, the BMW, and the Bentley are all sort of boats, or a class of boats in this game. They take the curves like it's nothing really. But yeah, that move completed. Back towards the front then, Alex Zakdal and Porshkov have definitely dropped away from each other. Porshkov is now 2 seconds behind Alex Zakdal. You can see that gap there, quite a large gap, 2 seconds, and further behind Reyes about 3 seconds. So that's given Alex a bit of a sort of a rest for this part of the race, but also with the 2 pit stops you've got to get your strategy perfect, otherwise you'll be at risk of sacrificing your P1 position. Ray says in the chat the Bertley, yep, that's correct. The Burt MW, the Bertley, and the Must Boat. Right, that's terrible. I'll continue with my normal commentary. For those that didn't, I think the Mustang combined with the Boat. We can call it a boat tag, I think, but better. Bertley, a boat langer. Boat MW. Right, now, enough of that nonsense. Pryor's still on the rear of Given. Obviously we saw him giving up the position earlier. Too young to be giving dad jokes, sorry. Yeah, the amount of work that ACM gives me is aging quite significantly. But I enjoy it, and it's good seeing the battles that we've been seeing today, so no hard feelings there. Actually, Astakov is sort of behind Bukhari. You can see this sort of three-car battle at the moment. Bukhari in front of the Mustang, followed by Astakov in front, and Max Russell, who we're on board with at the moment. Obviously Max Russell, as I was saying, in this fantastic Republic of Korea livery. It is a smashing livery, that. It's nice seeing all the flowers and all the smaller details on there, for sure. And all the different colours. But I think he's doing quite a lot at the moment. He started in P12 and they're up into P8 at the moment, so obviously some good progress being made there. Astakov in front. See, Ari is about a second down now for Bukhari. As Max Russell takes a lot of the curve on the inside of 130R there. And it's quite a fast corner. Curbs are not friendly. This is actually currently the closest battle that we've got on the track. There's about a second between all of these cars. As we see the first car of the top pack to go in the pit lane, Lucas Hannock has come in for a pit stop. That's a bold strategy call, that one. It'll put him out in, I think, a bit of traffic as he comes out sort of between car number 33 and 70. I highly doubt that though. It'll be a bit of traffic for Hannock after this. It'll lose him a bit of time in there. But what he'll gain from the rest might be quite lucrative. It depends on what the rest of his strategy is. Obviously he comes in now and fills up with fuel to do the rest of the race. He can come in and change tyres later. It'd be interesting to see what the drivers did regarding their strategy after the race. Try and drag some drivers in for a post-race interview. Obviously towards the end of this 7-round series you'll see a lot of drivers sort of doing the same strategy as it gets worked out. Sort of what the best one is per race. Few drivers, Massey and Lopez, sorry, Massey and Price are looking for a battle. Dario Lopez, sorry, I'm going to switch back to this battle but talk about Lopez behind. He's doing incredibly well in that number 1 Ferrari. They started in P22. And they're up in P11 now, or P12, so they've moved up 10 places starting that McLaren. They're doing incredibly well. And at the moment, you can see the battle here between Simon and I think Price in the BMW. be any major changes between these guys though. The link to Discord has just been automatically posted in the chat. If you do fancy joining us for any races, if you like the look of what we've got going on tonight, you can either scan the QR code that'll take you to our Discord, or you can join the Discord link in the chat. As price goes a little bit wide there. Goes wide again. It looks like they'll have to cut the corner. We'll see if they join in any way different. Yeah, they've taken a very wide line on that. It looks like they've fortunately got it back going again, but they've lost about 3 positions in the process. They're down for the pit lane as well. Alfie Price, Given, Lopez, they're all in the pit lane. Obviously we saw Lucas Hanak already do 1 stop, and actually he's found quite a nice gap to set some lap times in, so it could be quite a lucrative move here. You can see Gibbons not too far behind as well, has already done 1 stop, so it looks like they've not lost out too much since the start. Be interested to see what these guys up at the front do. There's about 3 seconds between guys there. Alex Zakdal up front with a last lap of 1:49.4 and Porsche behind with a 9.9. So it'd be interesting to see what these guys have planned for their strategies. Obviously with how fast they are, I do expect that they're doing quite well in that regard. But time will certainly tell. Looks like Mass Hustle, Asticon and Becari are still having their battle. We'll hop on board with Max Hustle and see what we can see in front. So obviously Astikov is in the Ferrari in front, you can see Ferrari in front of that as well in the Mustang. All 3 of these fighting for P3, 5 on track, sorry. Anson and Pinton are now in the pit lane as well, so they're doing their first pit stops. Lopez, who we saw quite high up, has done their pit stop as well, and they're behind Barry Gibbons now. So Gibbons, after their first pit stop for damage and stuff, finds themselves in about sort of P12-ish area, 11 P12, which is not too bad considering the damage that he had. So potentially found some nice gaps in there. Looks like it's a slow car of number 27. Let's see what they're doing. That's Astikov, it seems like, so I don't know if there's been a bit of a collision there. 444, I think there might have been with car number 7, with Astikov there, so inside, yeah, just a small bit of contact on the inside there. Span around Astikov, and it looks like he was able to get it re-going, but yeah, that's quite a bit of time loss for Astikov, unfortunately. It's about 5 or 6 seconds or so. So that'll be a penalty for Max Hustle after the race. Unfortunately no live stewarding today, but the drivers did vote to have the commentary instead. I do apologise if you hear me yawning about the commentary, by the way. I'm quite tired. It's been a long day. Lucas Hanak is on the back of Will Gossel. Will Gossel in the ACM Audi, a very good livery that. Hanak, no man to be afraid of a battle like this, and I think Will Gossel is also a very smart driver just to allow Hanak through where he wants it. You can see there he's just sort of seeded the position nicely. Hanak obviously done his first pit stop, is in front of Solarino, Costa, Roy Hitt and Olivaria, who are doing their pit stops at the moment. Hanak is the first one to pit and is also the first on track regarding who done what pit stop. So obviously depending on how much traffic Zakdal and the leaders come up, is how much trouble Hanak will have. Going on board with Hanak, you can see a lapped car in front of him. Lapped car is exactly, it's a Ferrari. It looks like 5. Yeah, gamble here, which car this is. It looks like. Oh, yeah, 54. That's for position actually. Hanak is about Minsk. You see a bit of light flashing there by Hanak. Obviously not happy with the lack of overtake, but as I said, he's gone up the inside and he's got the position done. There's a slight bit of contact there as they exit the corner. Nothing significant there. Minsky drops back about half a second or so. Max Hustle is now on the rear of Becari. I think Porshkov is now in the pit lane as well, so he's the first of the top sort of 4 guys to do it. Obviously, we saw Lucas Hanek doing it earlier, so what we'll go on board with Hanek and see where he, in relation to Porshkov. So we saw Porshkov drop down from the stands, and he's sort of exiting the pit lane now. So Hanek around to the final corner. Porshkov is speeding over the first corner, so looks like it's going to be P3, P4 respectively for these guys. I don't think Hanek has called any further by doing an earlier pit stop. I don't know what the gap was before the pit stop, but it's definitely not as small as it was before. About 6 or so, maybe 8 seconds of previous drivers. Apologies, it looks like Hustle's had a bit of an unfortunate sort of spin there as he rejoins the circuit. Thankfully cleanly, so he's not dropped down to 6th, and I think Bukhari had a bit of a collision there as well. So contact between Bukhari, yeah, there was. We'll see if we can see that now. That's the corner. Max accelerates, and yeah, unfortunately, there's a little bit of contact there. But I think, thankfully, Max Hustle waited to give back that position, so that's good to see. On track then, Bukhari is behind that's wrong, is behind a lapped Mustang, I think Mustang Hinton? Nope, it's Anton. You can see there, a little bit of battle, it's a lapping driver and the Mustang behind, that's Bukhari, I think, that's having troubles passing him. So Alex Zagdal and Dreyer yet to complete the pit stop. Then with Pryor and the others are the only ones left to do their pit stops at the moment. You can see on the left hand side that number 2 next to the driver's name, so I'm not sure if you can see it on the stream or not. But that shows how many pit stops they've got left to do. Pryor's about 20 or so seconds behind Dre. Obviously saw Pryor drop down a couple of positions to start his spin. But he gets to do a pit stop as well. Looks like Porshkov is sort of still about 6 or so seconds, 7 or so seconds on in front of Hanek actually. Hanek was of course running in 4th place. First driver to do the pit stop. Mack and Gossel are now in the pit lane to do their first pit stop. It's interesting to see people's strategies. I think my sort of strategy would be similar to what we saw the other day. It'd be sort of first 20 minutes to half an hour, first stop, another 20 minutes, half an hour on the race, and you do a stop. That sort of balances it out quite evenly. Obviously, you do have to take fuel, you have to take tyres. You have to take tyres, but the tyres are optional. As we'll take it at some point. Cars do struggle. Race the same set of tyres for about an hour and 15 if you don't take care of them well enough. Obviously you got that factor there. And Max Hustle is now back on the rear end of Bukhari, going for a second attempt at the overtake. Go on. Your mic's gone a little quiet, mate. Either that or the rest, and it's mega loud. Sorry, maybe I'm speaking a little less quiet. Bukhari dives for the pit lane there. Hopefully my microphone is back up to being louder. If you can let me know if that's good now. But yeah, Bukhari dives for the pit lane. He's one of sort of about 8 or 9 drivers left at the top to do their pit stop. Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Not really. I think Gibbons is now catching up to sort of drivers in front. You've got Gaven in front in that Ferrari. Both drivers have done their first pit stop. We know that Gibbons was in earlier to repair some damage. It's good to see him back up in P14. Similarly, Firth down in P19 also had obviously a bit of a collision at the start. Still got a bit of damage on the front of that Mustang as well, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. Coco further back is now on the, he's passing Gossel on the inside as he comes towards the hairpin. Gossel, we know, as a smart driver in the Audi and knows which battles to take and which not to take. Don't know whether Coco is particularly a fast driver. We saw him up in sort of about P18, P19 earlier, but there is a lot of damage on that McLaren, so definitely a slower sort of pace for them. So Popo and Bukhari are still in the pit lane. I don't know if that's the second pit stop that Bukhari was doing. Vicari coming out the pit lane now, just drops in behind Costa in the Porsche. You see in chat, Discover Uplay, the website to get the best deals and the hottest updates in the gaming industry. Uplay is a fantastic website to get some cracking deals on. You can see if you go onto their website, it's about 80 to 90% off most retail store games. Not Steam only, you can get Nintendo Play, Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus sort of games on there as well. So if you're looking for a sweet deal on a new game, or you're looking for some DLC for Assetto Corsa, or you're even looking to get into Assetto Corsa, fancy have a look over at Uplay using the link in the chat and get yourself a nice discount. Who doesn't love a bit of saved money? So Gibbons is on the back of Ben at the moment. I'm trying to stay on this battle at the moment. You can see on your timing sheets, Dreyer, Pryor and Astikov and Massey are all doing their pit stops now as well. So up at the top it is only Soloev, Zakdal and Max Hussle left to do their pit stops. I'm not sure when exactly Alex is going to do his pit stop. He's sort of towards sector 3 at the moment. .43 minutes left of the race. I don't know if actually Alex Zakdal might sort of extend his stints and decide to do sort of a last minute splash and dash before the pit, before the end of the race. Obviously where he comes out of the pit lane in relation to Dreyer and Porshkov is going to be quite detrimental. Speaking of which, I think Porshkov has rejoined in front of Dreyer again. Porshkov take tyres, do you know? That's a good point actually, to have a look at what the drivers have done. So there is only 2 drivers on the track who are yet to do their pit stop, Massey and Soloev are in the pit lane now. So Dreyer, it looks like the only driver, or the only 2 drivers to take fuel at the moment has been Gibbons down in P9 and Hanak down in P5. They both had 29-second pit stops, so 25 seconds and 4 seconds of damage. So maybe Gibbons didn't have too much damage at the start, and it was instead just a bit of a strategy call to pit early. But it's good to see that it's worked out for him. Carlos Popo is doing incredibly well up in P17. They started in P38. They weren't unfortunately not able to set a lap time in qualifying, it seems. But have done very well to get up into their position. You've got Michael Firth in front, who has had quite an unlucky race, what with incidents at the start. But yeah, answering your original question, John, it looks like Porshkov had a 35-second pit stop, so that was unfortunately, well, not really unfortunate, but that was tyres and fuel. So I think the second stop for Porshkov will definitely be for fuel only. Quite, well, not the best idea to take both tyres and fuel both times. Carlos Popo is all over the track looking for a nice gap to get past Firth in front, but there's nothing fruitful as of yet. Further up in front, the battle between Costa and Pryor is heating up. They're both side by side as they head down towards 130R now. What lap times is he doing versus Zakdal? So he's just come out the pit lane. His previous lap time was 159.3, whereas Alex Zakdal's last lap time was a 2 minutes flat. So interesting to see. I think with the new tyres, obviously, it's going to be having a lot more grip. The battle between these 2 drivers in P10 and P11 is quite intense. You can see the Mustang of the Vicari now looking to get involved with the action, and so is Price behind as well. So massive battle going on here. Very close between them, and Porshkov had clear air after his stop. So yeah, I mean, it all depends really. Alex's last lap is about to be recorded now as he goes across the timing board. 2 minutes flat with 4/10. So Porshkov is certainly lapping a lot faster than Alex. With new tyres and potentially a little less fuel in the car, it's interesting to see. So I don't know actually if Alex is going to come in this lap. If obviously the time taken that he's getting Amazon from being slow is being detrimental. Maybe Alex has brimmed the tank. Yeah, I think he might have filled up the tank actually, and he's going sort of long. He was having some good lap times towards the start. I'm going to jump on board with this battle now as it's sort of a four-way battle. Pry's got a little bit of damage on the front. He dropped down a couple of positions, so I don't know if there's been any contact there. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see his strategy. I've sort of been saying it the entire time, really, the fact that he's not yet done his pit stop. It's the same for Max Hussle. He's currently the only driver left out on track to do to have 2 mandatory pit stops left. Fortunately, it seems as if Pryor's now dropped down into sort of about P13 position. We saw him battling sort of P9, P10, and now they've dropped down quite a way as well. They were battling earlier with Askov, who's up in P7, but now there's about 15 seconds between Askov and Pryor. I mean, even after these pit stops, as you can see a Mustang going very wide on the outside there. I'm not sure if that was Bucari, it was. As they come through the final 2 corners now. So that's given Price the position. I think it's also given Costa the position. You see Pryor right on the rear end of that Mustang in front. We'll see if we can see what else is going on. Looks like there's no other major battles going on. We'll check in with Gavin Iverson. Gavin is obviously his first race on his wheel. He's not yet done pit stops as well, but I think he's just been sort of maintaining his lap times and getting used to the wheel. It's quite a big change to do, of course. Sort of taking it sort of steady there. Be interesting to see his strategy as well. Nikinen's gone in for his second stop, so he's going to be gaining quite a lot if he gets out in some clean air. Up towards the front, still no change. Alex's last lap was 2:01.1, so these lap times are certainly dropping for Alex. He needs to sort of step up the game if he wants to remain in P1 after these stops. He may have had issues, shows 7 laps down. Yeah, I think he might have had a couple of spins or something. We saw him off the side of the track a couple of times stopped, so maybe he's either sorting out something to do with his wheel or his position or something along the lines of that. But yeah, definitely sorting some stuff out there for him. This battle for P10, sort of P11, is still going on. Alfie Price has done really well to get through this battle so far. They're about 1.4, 1.5 seconds ahead of Bucari in P11. Obviously, I think Pryor and Price have both swapped their positions respectively. Gibbons, who we saw doing the earlier pit stop, the alternate strategy, is up in P9, so he's doing very well. I don't know if I think they stopped for fuel as well, so they've got their tyres on that they had at the start. You can see a little bit of an alternate line there by Gavin, so it looks like Gibbons might potentially look at making a move down the straight here. Maybe a worse exit for that McLaren that we're involved with now. About 2 seconds behind Gibbons. Sorry, behind Gavin. Up at the front, still no change. Alex is still out. He's just crossed the finish line and done a 2 minutes flat. So his lap times are thankfully going back up now. Maybe he had a bit of a graining phase or something like that. Gibbons down in about P9 is obviously still on the back of Gavin. It's about 1.3 seconds between these guys. Popo is actually on the outside of Firth now. Firth up in P15. Obviously with the first pit stop being due to damage. Popo is all over the rear end in that McLaren. There's been sort of a close race throughout the past couple of laps. We know Popo, we saw him a couple of laps ago right on the rear, sort of a similar deja vu moment there between the two cars. Nevertheless, we'll try and switch back to what's going on up front. Astikov is on the rear of Solarino. Solarino, one of the drivers we haven't really been able to cover this race, but now we are in that black and orange Mustang, racing for, I think it was SKFR? Yeah, SKFR. They're racing for. There's quite a lot of drivers tonight. You can see on the left hand side, Massey is from SKFR, and we've got the drivers at least in there as well. Take a moment to advertise a little bit about this series. Then it is a 7-round championship all races have mandatory refuel in them. That's all fixed as well, so all the 75-minute races that we've got going on are slightly different in their formats. Obviously regarding track, but everything else is the same. There is one drop round for this season as well, so drivers, obviously if they have a bad result, maybe if it's today, maybe if it's later, it's automatically removed. So the scores are sort of kept a little bit less worrying for the drivers. Solarino is defending valiantly in front of Basketball, but in front you can see the different lines the cars are taking through these chicanes. Back down the grid, I think Lopez has dropped down a couple of more positions as well, unfortunately. It looks like Gibbons and Firth are now doing their final pit stop. Also, we know Gibbons was doing sort of an alternate strategy by boxing early. I think Firth ended up doing sort of a similar thing, but that was, I think, more towards the result of damage. It'd be interesting to see. I think Gibbons took tyres this time. He had a 33-second pit stop, so he's on some new boots for this final part of the race and only has to fill up for 35 minutes, so it'll be a bit of a splash and dash for Barry Gibbons towards the end of this race. Got a clear gap in front. There's about 4 seconds to Arminsky in front. We know Arminsky is not a slow driver at all, so he's going to have some bit of ease at least up front. Max Hussle, more importantly, is now in for their first pit stop, so Alex Zagdal is still remaining out. Obviously with half an hour left in this race, there's more than enough time, but it is interesting seeing this alternate strategy. Max Hussle did tyres as well by the looks of it, with 32 seconds stopped. Hanak is in the pit lane now doing their final pit stop. Obviously saw Hanak being the first one of the top drivers to do the pit stop. Alex has dropped... Oh, Alex has done his pit stop. I've completely missed that then, so yeah, Alex is pitted. And Poshkov has actually gone past him, so I've missed this during the previous lap. It seems like the late stop by Alex has perhaps jeopardised the position on track. However, Alex is now on new boots, so Alex is on fresh tyres and potentially on a little bit less fuel to last these 15 minutes compared to Poshkov's older tyres and potentially more fuel. So let's see what happens here. I think what the smart idea would be is for Poshkov to go in the pit lane now, get on some fresh boots and sort of be equal, but one stop ahead of Alex. Just because obviously when you're defending against a driver, you do lose out quite a lot of time, and it's common that you're going to end up burning your tyres as well, especially if the driver's slightly faster than let's say that Alex takes the wide line on this corner. But yeah, it's not worth burning down the tyres really, especially if you've already done tyres. I believe Poshkov was he had a 35 second pit stop, so he's taken tyres so far, so is Alex. Both of them are probably still yet to do just a fuel pit stop. But we'll try and keep our eye on this because obviously we know Alex is a very fast driver, and he'll be wanting that position back. Seri is about 0.4 seconds behind Price. I'm probably still going to stick to the top battle or so. We can see Costa is about 0.3 seconds behind Gaven as well. Alex is getting incredibly close to Poshkov up front. You can see these two sort of neck and neck, nose to tail now, as they come through the first sector. So I mean, as you can see, strategy does play a massive part in races like this. Obviously some drivers have cleared all their mandatory pit stops now. Hanak being one of them, Gibbons being another, and Nikon being another. That's a dive up the inside from Alex there. We'll switch to the helicam and try and get a better angle of that. So there's a little bit of door banging between these two on the corner, a little bit on the exit as well. It's a drag race of the Ferraris into sector 3. Alex is going to have the inside for the next corner, but it's going the long way around until then. We have a battle of who's latest on the brakes. Looks like it was Poshkov. It went a little bit wide in the exit. That's given Alex sort of the inside line to make a move as he goes up the inside and confirms it. See these two drivers going sort of neck and neck towards 130 now. try and stay on board with this action. Alex Akdal, obviously we know, very fast driver from our previous races, won at least one championship. It's not as much as you, John, but still quite a lot. You say you got popcorn at the ready. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be an interesting battle between these two. Hopefully there's no hard feelings at the end of it. Hopefully it's a good battle. See Alex, I think he'll be diving for the outside here into the corner. Gonna have the outside for next. Oh, it's contact between the two. That's unfortunate to see. Alex has spun out into the gravel, and I'm not sure exactly what happened between these two there, but Dreyer goes through. I don't know where Porshakov is. We'll try and cut back and see exactly what happens. So as they come into the first corner, Alex goes around into the outside, sort of comes across, and yes, it's a collision between the two cars. Really, it'd be interesting to see what happens with that post-race. But now, Dreyer is in front of Zakdal, and Porshakov is leading the race. So Porshakov has gained from that actually. And the popcorn is in the air. Yeah, didn't last long at all, that statement really. As soon as I sort of read out your message about popcorn being out, it was all party and games. But yeah, Dreyer. Obviously, all these guys up at the top have already all done one pit stop, so they've only got one left. Obviously, Lucas Hanek further back down, you see him in P14 at the moment, has done both of his pit stops, but will be on older tyres by the end of the race. If these guys continue on battling, it could give Hanek a bit of a jump start on the rest of them, to be honest. Go on the rear of Porshakov, see what's happening between them. So Alex has dropped down a little bit now. I don't know if his tyres have been got because of the spin or what, but he was originally on some quite good condition tyres, so whatever he had on there had been wasted away, unfortunately. All that 14 has brought Dreyer right back into the back at P1. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, with endurance races, we were saying the other night, anything can happen. I mean, when you got 75 minutes of racing like this, absolutely anything can happen. That's a dive bomb and a half by Dreyer, but he's made it happen. He's at the inside of Porshakov and he's currently leading the race. So very well done to Dreyer there. It was a certain definite dive bomb as Porshakov literally barrels into the pit lane with moments to spare. I wonder if Zakdal will copy it. No, he hasn't. He's stayed out. So Porshakov has sort of gone for a gamble there. That was a massive dive bomb by Dreyer up the inside. We'll see if we can see a better angle of that again. I've unfortunately put back too early. But I don't know if maybe Dreyer had a better line out of this here, or it was just a matter of braking later. It seems like it was. Get a decent camera angle now. Nope, I've missed it again. Sorry guys, terrible. But yeah, mega late move there. Porshakov diving to the pit lane. It got done, but it was evasive actions that had to be done by Porshakov there. He had to dive to the outside. I don't know why we just cut off there, but that was pretty mental to see from Dreyer dive up the inside there. I think Dreyer and Porshakov have a little bit of history between the two drivers, and maybe they raced in a team or something before. But we saw a couple championships ago. Obviously, Dreyer and Porshakov were sort of in race by race. I think Porshakov was pitted to get clean air and stop battling to get the time back. Yeah, I was saying that the smart idea at this point would be to pit early and get some clean air to race in, because when you're racing, a lot of time gets wasted. Speaking of Hanek, we were saying that he might have been able to catch up, but by the looks of it, he is very far behind Porshakov. He was in P4 respectively, and now he's about 13, 16. So yeah, he's about 18 or so seconds down from Porshakov. Also on board with Porshakov now. Alex Zakdal does have the fastest lap of the race. I believe there are 5 points for fastest lap, so that is detrimental in this race. If you come in P2 with the fastest lap, you get the same points as P1 does. And that can sort of become the decider as to what happens in the championship. With 7 rounds and 1 drop round as well, you don't really have the excuse of this round was a terrible one, because it is a drop round. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens from there. Busseri is on the rear of Price now. You can see these two coming into 130R at top speed. Neither of them backing out of the throttle. That was a good sound there. You can see the Mustang. Now we've gone board actually and having a listen to the Mustang as it accelerates out the final couple corners. The BMW Price in front is looking to get a good exit as he goes and dives for the pit lane. So Price is in for his final pit stop. So is Astikov, you can see on the timing sheet on the left hand side, and Mizuki further down in sort of about P22 is doing their final stop. It looks like Given, Pryor, Nikinen, Silver, and they've already done their other pit stops. Ryan Blanchett, who we saw having a little bit of contact at the start, unfortunately is now in P20. Both his pit stops done, so it looks like he's fortunately been able to recover it a little bit. So yeah, Price is now in the pit lane, so is Astikov. Up the front again, it seems like it's sort of a Dreyer, Zakdal, Max Hussle sort of situation. You see Max Hussle here lapping the Ferrari of Blanchett there. That ACM liveried Ferrari is very nice. Done by our professional livery creator, Robin. A bit of light flashing there. I'm not sure if Blanchett was happy with how the position was taken by Max Hussle. I don't know why that flashing was maybe necessary, but it happened. Drive through. That's stop go penalty for Pinton, so I think Pinton might have gone too fast in the entry to the pit lane or something along the lines of that. Unfortunately, had that happen there. Just looking at the incidents that we've got tonight, there's not actually too many. We've got 41 total, so it's going to be a bit of effort for me post-race, but not too much. Where's Porshkov gone? I think it's chat about that. Porshkov's got a drive-through. Yeah, I've completely missed that. So Porshkov is going to be now dropping further back down, and will sort of be in contention with Hanak. So very, very like brutal twist of the tables there. So that'll take a lot of weight off the shoulders for Alex. Speaking of, is 0.2 seconds behind Dreyer. It's all heating up here towards this final 23 minutes of the race. Porshkov has got the drive-through penalty. That'll set him back quite a bit and probably push him out of contention for the top two spots. But these two battling, one of them needs to make the pit stop so that they can get some clean air and not lose as much time. See in front there, Gibbons potentially having a little bit of a battle with another driver, Gibbons and Given. What exactly has happened there? Given's had a little bit of an off there. Not exactly too sure what's happened there. We'll see if we can go back and have a look. Came into the corner. That was a dive up the inside. Wow, there was no space there at all. Came around and was a bit of contact there from Gibbons. That's not the nicest. Not exactly sure whose fault that was, but it'll definitely be a penalty to one of them post-race. But yeah, it was some fast reactions from Alex Zakdal up front. It lost him a little bit of time, unfortunately, but yeah, some crazy reactions to see that in time. Gibbons is now 0.3 seconds behind Alfie Price. Obviously we saw Alfie Price in the pit lane a couple minutes ago. Acosta and Soloev are also now in the pit lane. Costa is exiting the pit lane. So currently Dreyer leads the race, which I think is something that not all of us saw coming. I think a lot of us were banking our money on Alex Zakdal coming out and being dominant on the track today. But due to the amount of time he spent out at the start and having sort of the slower lap times, he's ended up losing quite a lot. He's currently also doing 2 minute and 1 second lap times, so again he's losing his time. On his current lap he's about 4/10 down, so as well it's going to be another losing lap from him, unfortunately. I think Porshkov has taken his... where is Porshkov? I think Porshkov might have gone. So very clearly didn't want to battle for the top 3 then. He saw the drive-through and well left, unfortunately, so that's interesting to see. Not what you like to see, but yeah, he's gone. Weird. Each to their own, I guess. So that just leaves really Dreyer and Alex to battle for the top, so there is no more contention here. If Alex wants this position, he's going to have to catch up to Dreyer and claim it. Dreyer is on a mad run at the moment though. He's doing 2 minute flats at the moment, his previous lap at least. Obviously Alex still has the fastest lap of the race, so Dreyer will need to claim that as well. Fastest lap is a 1:58.7. Dreyer's fastest lap is 1:59.3, so I'm not entirely sure that's going to be possible for Dreyer, but as it currently stands, Alex will be equal on points going into the first round. There's a bit of blue flag mix up here. I think that might be... Who's that actually in the Mustang? That might be... not Firth. I think it might be Anton? Pinton? Gazerni that we saw final corner. You can see a bit of a cluster of cars in front. It's a bit difficult for these guys up front to navigate, but it seems like Alex has done it a lot better than Dreyer has. You see Dreyer running like 0.3 seconds in front. Popo is doing their final pit stop. You can see it's all greens on the left hand side apart from Elshin down in P21 and also P5 and upwards. So in these sort of final 20 minutes or so, we do only have 6 to 7 drivers left to do their pit stops. See the blue flag, keep made to some drivers there. 115, don't have any contacts. No! No! I saw it coming. That's really unfortunate to see, man. The car number 115, what car is that? That's Brewer, unfortunately having contact with the with Alex in P2, so that's really unfortunate to see that. That's really not what you like to see. Alex is now 11 seconds down on what it was. Obviously, as a blue flag, you should be giving up your position nice and easily and not battling for it in any way. I think I saw him sort of drifting out, and that sort of. I was hoping there wasn't going to be contact, but there ended up being contact. So now Alex is 11 seconds down on Dre. He's going to have to push hard and very hard to get that position. He needs to come in the pit lane, get some fresh boots on, maybe fuel up even just 1 litre and do what he needs to get to the line and just absolutely belt it towards the finish line if he wants any hopes of finishing in P1. Alfie Price has also got a drive-through penalty now down in P9. That's unfortunate to see. Gibbons just slightly behind. That'll be another free position for him. So it's currently Massey, Busseri, Max Hussle, Alex and Dreyer who have got left to do their stop. Looks like Pryor's unfortunately on the side of the road there. That's not good to see. He's down in P20 and was doing quite well, so I don't know if he's had a wheel disconnect or what. There's a lot of damage on the side of that. You can see on the side there's quite a lot of damage, but yeah, that's very unfortunate to see, and he's returned to pit lane, so not entirely sure what's gone on there. Gossel is looking like he's sort of behind. Well, no, he's just getting the positions during the pit stop, so he's now in P22, doing quite well there. Daniel with a lot of damage on that front end of the McLaren. I think he'll be returning to the pit lane now. Yeah, he is to repair that, so that's unfortunate to see. I don't know if there was any contact there. I don't see any contact between Pryor. Or maybe I do. L744. Yeah, man, that's so unfortunate to see. Massive contact there. I think that was Nikon as well. The two liveried cars having contact with the sort of mess there. So that'll be a lot of penalties post race. I sort of jinxed it myself with the penalties. There's now 53 to have a look over. Up at the top then, Alex is in the pit lane. He's listened to what I said and he's done his pit stop. Got some. Has he taken fresh boots? Yes. No, he hasn't. He's on the same tyres and he's just taken the fuel. So interesting. He might be sacrificing his P1 position. Then it'll be interesting to see when and where Dreyer comes in and where he comes out for sure. It'll be interesting to see how he responds to this as well. Whether he wants to come in now and ensure his still in front or continue on while he's got some fresh air. If I was him, I'd probably continue on while he's got some fresh air. Alex, who's 11 seconds behind, who was 11 seconds behind, has got quite a bit of got some traffic in front, not too much, but some traffic in front. You see the blue flag there moving nicely out of the way. Busseri is also now leaving the pit lane. They were the one of sort of 6 or so cars left to do their pit stop. Popo is currently behind Costa still. Dreyer's now in the pit lane, so yeah, he's responded to that and saying, look mate, I was in P1, I'm going to stay in P1, I'm going to come out about 11-10 seconds in front of you, and that'll be our race. So it's not what everyone had their bets on tonight. I think a lot of people were definitely betting on on Alex winning. As John's saying in the chat, in theory, Drea will be in the lead by about 10 seconds after pit stops. That's entirely correct. We'll go on board with Popo just temporarily and see what he's doing with Costa in P11. There's a bit of dive inside there. Let's keep it clean, guys. And it looks like it was. That's a good overtake there. But the 744 Costa potentially looked to come back there, go slightly wide. Kept it all on, so that's good. But that was a nice move by Popo there. Again, link in the chat for you players come up. If you fancy checking him out, please do. They've got some cracking deals on there if you're looking to get into ACC. Then you're some very good deals on there. It's about 80% off for the best game set, of course, and each DLC is worth about 60-70% off. A lot of our members have used Uplay as part of our affiliation, so and they've all recommended it. So if you fancy checking out some great deals on any game, go over and check them out. And obviously the link for the Discord is also now in chat. If you do fancy joining us for anything, join the Discord. We run about 4 to 5 races a week. So in the pit stops then, Drea has taken tyres, so he's had 5 seconds extra on the pit stop. He's got some fresh boots on, and now Alex is only about 5 seconds down from Drea. So in front you can see Massey there, has yet to do their pit stop. It's Max Hussle provisionally leading, but they've still got 1 pit stop left to do as well. And Drea is only 22 seconds behind, so I think Max Hussle will be definitely slipping that to about 4th or 5th position. Hanak, who we saw being in about 4th place towards the start of the race, is also in 5th place now. He's about 11 seconds down on Alex. Alex needs to seriously push this car now. That could be a deal breaker for Drea too. Risky but clever move. Yeah, getting on some fresh boots in the final part of this race. What he might potentially be doing is trying to get the fastest lap off of Alex. If he can get a 158.7 on race pace, that would be absolutely mental for Drea. I wouldn't put it past him. He's a very fast driver, but it will take those extra 5 points away from Alex. In a championship like this, everything matters with points wise. Like I said, if you finish in 2nd place with fastest lap, you get the same amount of points as 1st place. So if you can finish 1st place with fastest lap, then you have quite a significant lead over 2nd going into the 1st round. Obviously, as we decided earlier on into the race, we are racing at Donington next week, so it's going to be Brands Hatch next week. So it's going to be quite an interesting one there, seeing about 40 or so cars try and filter through there. It looks like Massey in front maybe needs to change their tyres. I don't know what they did in the last pit stop. They definitely changed tyres there, so definitely struggling in that car for sure. Him coming into the first corners again now. Alex is on the outside looking to make a move, and I think he'll get that done fairly easily. It's a battle of the Ferraris in equal machinery now. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. I think Massey might just potentially just give him that position to the difference in pace and stuff. But yeah, that is Alex now only about 7 seconds behind Drea, so I think Drea could be solidified in that top spot. Comparing the previous couple laps, Alex's last lap was 159.8. Obviously Drea's last lap was his out lap, so that's a little bit slower. Massey is the only driver left on track, I believe, to do their pit stop. Yeah, that's true. So Gazzoni has unfortunately got a stop go 30 at the back. Iveson is about 8 laps down on their wheel. Still good going though for a first race on the wheel. I'm not sure if there's been any incidents or spins or whatever with him. You see Drea filling through the corners now. So yeah, Massey is the only driver left on track to do their pit stop. There's 11 minutes left of this race for them to do so, so they should be able to do that perfectly fine. There's been quite a lot of people watching tonight. If you are watching and you fancy watching any particular driver, let me know in chat and I'll switch over to him. And also just say hi generally as well. Have a chat with you. So closest battle on track then is actually Silvering, behind Nikinen at the moment. Obviously Nikinen in that in Pryor's Aston Martin livery. It's about 0.3 seconds between these guys. It is for 14th place. I think Nikinen started quite high up, so he's lost out. Actually, Nikinen started in 15th position, so he gained 1 place since the start, but he was running quite high earlier on. I think he had the bit of contact with some other cars as well, so there is that to consider. But he's done very well to keep it in P14. He might lose a position here now to Silver in there. I'm going to try and keep my eyes on what's happening up front as well. Max Hustle has actually emerged out of the pit lane directly behind Astikov. There's about 0.6 seconds between these guys. I don't know which battle to cut to. This one's closer at the moment as Silverin dives, well, looks for a move up the inside. Nikinen goes slightly wide on the exit. Silverin's still on the inside, he's keeping it there. Some good racing going on between these guys. Nikinen has the worser exit on the outside. Silverin gets the boost from that Mustang on the inside. Turbo lag potentially not helping in Nikinen's case there. Alfie Price is behind them as well now in this battle as they go into 130R full speed. Having a look at the battle front, 0.6 seconds, 0.7 seconds between Max Hustle and Astikov. Price dives down the outside of Nikinen there. Nikinen goes across the curbs, taking a lot of the curbs compared to Price behind. He's got a better exit. It's going to be around the outside for Price. Maybe switching to the inside now as Nikinen covers all 4 corners there. It's going to be a drag race down into turn 1. Price looks to get in the slipstream again, maybe too close, and then looks back into it again. Ooh, a little bit of contact there as maybe the slipstream has helped out the BMW a bit too much. Oh, there's a bit of contact there. Nikinen's being spun round. I think Price is probably going to wait for him to rejoin, which he does. And no, that's not what we want to see. It's a bit of an unsafe rejoin there by Nikinen. Obviously on the grass, you got to be careful where you rejoin. It's unfortunate to see that. As we were saying, it was a good race for Nikinen until that point. Obviously, Price was having a good race as well, but they've both got it recovered. Fortunately, it's given Blanchett a bit of an easy couple of positions. Max Hustle, on the other hand, is right behind Astikov. Obviously, he was leading provisionally until the pit stop. So these two are currently the closest battle on track. I'm not sure anything will happen further with the leaders. I think it'll be Dreyer for the win. There's about 7.5 seconds still between Eric Dreyer in P1 and Alex Zakdal in P2. So Max Hustle is looking for a move. Astikov covers the inside there. You're only allowed 1 move defensive into the corner. Max Hustle dives around the outside. What a move there on the outside. It's still side by side as they go around the second corner. He's on the inside for the next one. Astikov's going to have the inside for the one after that. But however, Max has made that move done very cleanly as they go through the first sector of Suzuka. There's about 7 minutes left of this race, so Max has now taken in P4. He's 27 seconds behind Lucas Hanek, so I'm not sure he'll take anything else, so as long as he can keep it clean for the rest of this. It's been a very good race from him, up 8 places from his starting position. So wow, what a battle there. Certainly entertaining to say the least. But that has sort of solidified the grid now, so we'll go further back now as Lopez is on the back of Kelly. Kelly having the incidents earlier on. You can see Max Hustle now joining in with this as a lapping car. Brewers looking like they're returning to the pit lane. They had the damage earlier from the contact with the blue flags. So I don't know if he's repairing for damage or what. Costa's also now in the pit lane, so I don't know what Costa's potentially pitting for. I don't know if there's any damage on that car. Or what, but I guess we'll see what they're doing. And the grid is all spread out, unfortunately. It looks like Lopez and the guys in front are sort of the closest, about a second between these guys. But I'm just going to take a moment to say what a race this has been so far. It's the first round of 7 Round Sunday. Unfortunately, I'm not here next week to witness the racing, but so far so good. These guys. Obviously, we've had the incident here and there, for example, Pryor having to DNF the race and Portugal quitting the race and due to his drive-through. But these guys are now about half a second between each other. You see Kelly in the Ferrari in front. I'm on board with Rio Lopez at the moment. Costa's still in the pit lane, unfortunately, so I don't know exactly what they're doing. Maybe they've had to retire or something along the lines of that. They've currently been sat in the pits for about 52 seconds, so that's unfortunate to see. Maybe they've just run out of time or something like that. So Lopez and Popo currently the closest battles on track. You see Lopez now looking to use all the track available to him to catch up to Kelly in front. Purple, on the other hand, is sort of rounding the final sector now. He's got Gaven in front with a lot of damage on that rear end, so that's going to affect Gaven's ability to race. And Silver in behind in the Mustang has now got a drive-through penalty, so they've obviously fallen short of some track limits at some point. I'm going to keep on board with Purple at the moment. These two looking very close together of each other, 0.2 seconds between them. We go through these corners. Purple's all over the back of Gaven. Obviously that damage on the rear end of that Ferrari probably not helping the situation. It's Ferrari versus Ferrari. It's equal machinery, but not equal damage and not equal drivers. So it'll be interesting what Carlos Purpo can do with this. Obviously Purpo started in P38. They weren't able to set a qualifying lap, and now they're in, well, P10. So absolutely exceptional performance, an exceptional overtake there from Purpo as well. Up the inside around the couple corners there, and has made the move stick into Sector 2. Kelly might have the... sorry, Gaven might have the better exit, but it looks like he's going to stay behind there, so no change between these guys. But that is now 28 positions that Carlos Purpo has gained since the start of this race. Absolutely top job. It's not something you see a lot doing sort of a last to top 10, especially in only 75 minutes in a grid of 38 cars. Is absolutely mental to see, and he's done it very well as well. He's not had too much damage as well. Lopez is looking for the move around the outside of Kelly now into the first corner. It's going to be a battle who brakes latest on the brakes there. That was mental. It was so close between these two drivers there. They're going through on the final few laps now. Looks like that's a lapping car, actually, and that's Astnikov that's going through now. Yes, it is. That's a lapping car, so that's sort of separated these two. We'll go on board with Lopez actually and see how this unfolds. There's about 3 minutes left of the race, so at some point I'll switch back onto Drea and Alex Zakdal and see what they're doing. There is currently no change. There's still about 7 to 7.5 seconds between those two drivers up front, so as it stands now, Drea has done himself exceptionally well to stay out of trouble and finish in P1. That Brewer went into the pits because he accidentally drifted in the pit lane. Oh, interesting. That's not something you see often. He was forced to go into the pit lane, so unfortunately he had to serve a drive-through penalty. I don't know if he, literally just did a drive-through penalty of 30 seconds, so it's interesting to see. Busseri now is actually catching up to Solarino in front. It's the battle of the Mustangs towards the end of the race. I know we said at the start it was a sort of Ferrari 1, 2, 3, 4. And a Mustang sort of 5 through 8, but now it's a Ferrari, McLaren, followed by Lamborghini, the only one on the grid. And I know it's not the easiest of cars to drive as well, so Max Hussler has done exceptionally well to get to his place. These two battles are currently the closest as we're heading into the final 2 minutes. Firth is on the back of Saloev in front. Obviously Firth had a bit of the damage at the start, so he was doing very well to get him into his P13 position. It's a good recovery drive from him. It's looking like a move up the inside here, so we're going to have the outside for the hairpin. He backs out a bit slightly. Saloev goes potentially quite deep on this corner, but no, he brakes quite well and keeps the line. So Firth chose the smart move there to not go up the inside of that corner. It's a very difficult one to go up the inside of. And we now see Bucheri still on the rear of Solarino. Up front racing for SKFR. We've got an SKFR sandwich for Bucheri. He's got Solarino in front and Massey behind, both drivers for SKFR. So yeah, it's all sort of starting to unfold towards these last couple laps of the race. It's 0.2 seconds between these guys, 0.5 seconds between Popo and Gibbons, and 0.3 seconds between Michael Firth and Saloev. I'll try and cut to whichever one gets the most interesting. Currently they're all about 0.3, 0.4 between each other, as there's some lapped cars potentially in front of these two Mustangs here. I think that might be Anton or Pinton Mack in front, or Aminsky. Might be Aminsky, I think. That's the blue flag Ferrari up front, so hopefully they get through fairly easy. Yeah, he goes to the outside and lets the drivers through. That's good there. So the lead is on the final lap now. There's 0.1 seconds between Popo and Gibbons. We might see a move up the inside here. Exceptional, another move from Popo there. That's 39 positions in a 75-minute race from Popo. All of them fairly clean position changes. You see quite a lot of damage on the front end of Gibbons' car there. Maybe he's had a bit of contact with someone. That's not helping his situation for sure. Anton's gone into the pit lanes with a drive-through penalty. Bisseri is about 0.1 seconds behind Solarino now. They're coming down into 130R. Is it going to be side by side between here? It looks like it's going to be so. There's a little bit of contact on the entrance there. Both drivers go very wide into this corner. It's going to be a battle of who gets the better braking zone, but it looks like Solarino had to cut across the grass, and that's been the move for Bisseri there. Absolutely phenomenal racing in these final couple laps. They'll be crossing the finish line to start their final laps now, but Bisseri's found his way into P6. Solarino's dropped down a position. Same thing with Popo and Gibbons. Gibbons is now dropped down into P10, and Popo's done so well to get himself into 9th place. That's definitely driver of the day worthy, going up sort of 29, 38, yeah, 29 positions total during this race. Absolute top job performance from him there. With all the other battles seeding to exist, we'll go on board with the current race leader, Eric Dreyer for Takota Esports. He is doing an exceptional performance. He's still 7.5 seconds in front of our common esports driver, Alex Zakdal. As he rounds the final 3 corners now, he's perfect on the brakes. He'll take the first apex as he's following behind Soloev in the Audi in front. Takes the second apex, takes the final corner, and that'll be across the line for Eric Dreyer. An exceptional performance from him throughout the entire race. Done very well in his positioning and managed to stay out of trouble. He crosses the finish line in first position and does what Zakdal and the others could not. So yeah, top job performance from Eric. Very well done to him. Alex Zakdal crosses the finish line in P2 as well. It's unfortunate to see that contact from him. It would have been a close battle between the others nonetheless. Hanak crosses the finish line now as well. He slows down before the finish line as well, actually. But he does finish in P3, so good job from Lucas Hanak there. He's only about 18 seconds down towards the end. Max Hussle is coming through the final couple of corners now himself, as he is going to finish in P4. John says, good race to watch. Thanks for putting on a stream. Yeah, no worries. I was sort of debating whether to do live streaming or a stream tonight, but sort of glad I did the stream because it's been some good action throughout. So well done to Max Hussle. You've done exceptionally well to move up 8 places from P12 into P4. Another good race from you in that Lamborghini. Astikov finishes behind in P5. Bisseri finishes behind him in P6. Solarino comes into P7. Massey behind is sort of finalising these laps. Further down the grid, first finishes in P13. Blanchett has a good recovery drive into P13, 14 I think it was. You can see in the background Max Hussle is doing some celebratory donuts. So Massey is going to finish in P8, Popo in P9, Gibbons in P10, Given in P11, Soloev P12 and Firth and so on, 13 onwards. So we'll try and bring in some drivers for a post-race interview. That was a very good performance by all the drivers. We'll see if we can get Dreyer and Alex in for some comments. And we'll also see if we can get Popo in for his opinion. Obviously he had such a good race there. If not, we'll decide to end the stream, but that was overall a very good race, so thank you all for watching. We will have some post-race interviews, so stick around for those. And if you do fancy joining us, I'll post the link to our Discord in the chat. You can come and join us, 4 or 5 races every week, so get involved. See if we can get anyone in. If not, we'll just stick to ending it here. But yeah, what a race. So obviously Porshkov dropped out due to that drive-through penalty, so it only ended up being Dreyer and Alex Zakdal competing for the top 2. Then we had the contact with Alex, and then Dreyer unfortunately Well, fortunately for him, fortunately for Alex, finishing about 7.5 seconds in front. So I don't think we'll be able to. Dre is going to come in for a
I
post-race
made.
interview. Very well done on your win, mate. How was that?
I don't even know how I could win this race.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
sort of
know what this was possible.
Porshkov had a drive-through, and he ended up quitting because of that. And then Alex had a bit of contact, so that's sort of all the stars aligned for you in today's race.
Porshakov got the drive-through for track limits.
I think so. Yeah, he got a drive-through at some point for something, and then he left because of that. So that was sort of a blessing for you. And then Alex had, unfortunately, a collision, which also was a blessing for you. So yeah, you finished by 7.5 seconds in P1. So what a top job from you.
Yeah, I did my best and had a bit of luck there.
Yeah. Anything you can comment about the strategy? It was one of the questions that I was going to sort of ask to the drivers post race. Is there anything you would have done different now that you've done it?
Uh, I don't think so. I had split it up to 25-minute stints, and last one in I don't. I think it was like 15 minutes because of the time gaps, and I was running perfectly with that.
Yeah, yeah. It was good. It was a good strategy from you. You sort of balanced it out well. I think what happened with Alex was he sort of pitted too late and he was doing some slower laps on his older tyres because he only ended up pitting about 45 minutes into the race. So I think he lost out a little bit there. But you sort of balanced it well. You sort of pitted about the 40-minute mark, was it?
I was thinking about doing one splash and dash and one time big pit stop, but
Yeah,
in the end I was thinking about the blue flags and traffic and everything, so
yeah.
I
I mean,
thought like just do it on the two normal stops and let it go.
yeah, towards the end there, all you really needed to do was keep it consistent, and that's exactly what you did. So, yeah, good job there. Nothing I can really fault. So yeah, thank you for coming along. I don't think we'll be able to get anyone else for a post-race interview. Have you got anything else that you would like to comment about this?
Uh, no, I had a bit of luck and I stay with that.
Yeah, yeah, no, very well done to you. It was a good performance and well done on your win as well. So yeah, that was the first round of 7 rounds Sunday. That was at Suzuka. Next week we are at Brands Hatch, so if you do fancy joining us, I don't know whether there will be a stream, but then maybe. So yeah, come and join us for that next week. Obviously the link is in the Discord. Until then, we will see you around.
Bye bye.